to Pavel for waiting, but that was really interesting discussion about the Czech market entering, Czech e-shop entering, Czech e-commerce project entering the Polish market. And I would like to welcome Pavel from Expandeco. And Pavel, the stage is yours. And once again, so sorry, you got your time, so you can jump into it.
Chciał jsem začít česky, protože něco o českým mluvím, takže dobré ráno a to vůbec nevadí, že začneme hned později, ale samozřejmě přednášku připravil jsem v angličtině, protože ta moja čeština není taká odborná čeština a angličtina myslím, že bude taky pro všechny vhodnější. So I will switch into English now. Okay. I hope that you will see my screen.
Yes. I'm sorry. It's about the time that others from. I will. Yes, please start. We can see that.
Okay, so what to start with? I work from Poland. I'm a member of Expandeco team in Poland. I'm country manager, and I work mainly with Polish, with Czech and Slovak companies. And we as Expandeco, we are helping these companies to expand abroad and to succeed abroad. So that's one of our jobs, to make expansion more easy for e-commerces and for e-shop owners. And what we provide is mainly customer service, localization and translation, and last but not least, also reverse logistic in 14 countries now, but I hope that we will expand soon, because we've got also some more countries on our roadmap. I work from Poland, but my teammate Tomasz Różiczka work from Brno, so we've also got Czech-speaking teammates in our team. And what I prepared for today is some remarks on how we work with one of our clients. It's a Czech producer of CBD oil and hemp products. The company is called Zelena Zemie, and this is the brand they use in Czech Republic. But they also entered the Polish market some time ago, and we helped them in the challenge they had here on Polish market, and I hope that our work and what I prepared also will help you to be more to meet Polish customer expectation better, and because as we all know, it's all about the customers and their expectations. So as you probably know, the CBD oil and hemp products are not easy to advertise. They cannot just turn on the Google ads and wait for the traffic. They have to produce content and bring the traffic through this content. And they succeeded. They had traffic in Poland, but unfortunately without expected conversion rate. So conversion rate in Poland was lower than expected, lower than on other markets. And our job as Expandeco experts were to improve this conversion rate and to find the way to better meet Polish customer expectations here on our local market. And what we offered Zelena Zemie was, we call it e-commerce health check. So it was kind of study and analysis based of our knowledge of the local customer expectations and data from Google Analytics, from Zelena Zemie Google Analytics from the Polish website. And our aim was, in fact, to find the low-hanging fruits, so find the way to improve the conversion rate with as less effort as possible, to find some improvements that won't cost a lot and won't be very hard to implement, but will help to better serve the Polish customers, and at the end will end up with higher conversion rates here. So the first thing we show that we take a look was methods of delivery, F, and what we wanted to do is to check if these delivery methods already present on the Polish website are meeting our customers' expectations. And surprisingly, it wasn't. There was, for example, missing of one of the most commonly used and one of the most convenient delivery methods, which are, as Jan already told, paczkomaty. Paczkomaty is a solution which is special for our market, but a very convenient way of delivering parcels without waiting for the courier. Someone who is receiving the parcel could just pick up the package from the parcel locker, and we got a lot of them. There are over 11,000 paczkomaty only from InPost, and there are even more from other suppliers, and they are all located not far away from the place where people live, or where they do the shopping, because it's also convenient to pick up the parcel when you are, for example, doing your shopping or something like that. When you are leaving your home with some purpose, you can just pick up the parcel very easily from one of these parcel lockers. And as the numbers are concerned, it's easy to find that a lot of Polish e-shoppers, this is one from the October 2020, 85% of them would choose this way of delivery. And what's maybe even more important, that it's also easy to use paczkomaty with Allegro. So when you are Allegro customer and you are using something like Amazon Prime, in Allegro it's called Allegro Smart, you could pick up your parcel with no cost after exceeding only €8 when you are paying for the goods. Only €8, you've got the right to pick up your parcel for free from paczkomaty. So that's another reason of the popularity. And of course, it's also important that they provide very good service. So as Net Promoter Score is concerned, the numbers for paczkomaty is 71, and for example for couriers it's about 50. So paczkomaty are also very well at giving the customer what they need, so the right satisfaction. And this is one of the examples of this. This is paczkomaty app, which could be used on the mobile phone, and through this app I could got statuses and information about the parcels I'm getting. I could also send the parcels, and even without printing any labels. I just putting the address of the receiver and paying with my mobile payment, and after it I could choose one of these machines just to send the parcel without need to print any labels. And what's more, I can also use this app to open the parcel locker without waiting for anyone. So if there is a queue in front of paczkomaty, because they are extremely popular, it's a possibility to open the locker and to put out your own parcel without even waiting for anyone to close or to pick up his or her parcel. And yeah, this is the app which also got last year 3 awards in mobile trends. So they are very well awarded, not only by the users, but also by the jury, for example, of such competitions. So that's what's about the delivery methods. You don't have you have to remember about paczkomaty from the beginning of the expansion into Poland, I suggest, and some information about local payments. As Jan told that he's using przelewy 24 or przelewy 24 in Polish. I prepared for you some list of other payment gates. It's not only przelewy 24, but it's also .pay, TPay, eCard, and of course PayU. PayU is the leader in terms of recognition among the clients. They are very well known because they started to do business with Allegro, so a lot of Allegro clients know PayU. And the first thing is important to have this gate because sometimes people use this gate to connect, for example, their credit card, and they don't use in fact the credit card, but rather payment by this gate with a credit card. And the second thing is important to remember is that there is not only need to have the payment gates, but also the possibility of payment through bank transfer, and not only for the bigger ones, banks like Bank Polski or mBank or ING, but also for smaller ones, like Banki Spółdzielcze or Nest. These banks are popular among people living maybe outside of big cities, but if you want to sell something to such an audience, yeah, it would be important to have also this possibility. And that's not all, because there is also one thing. We've got a method of payment which is special to Polish market. It's called BLIK, and it's a way of mobile payment prepared for Polish banks, and also very well known by Polish customers. Very easy, because you don't have to, for example, when you are paying to someone, for example, when you are in a restaurant and you want to share the bill with your colleague, you don't have to remember, or you don't have to know his or her bank account number, but you can just send the money directly through this method of payments. And this is one of the reasons why it's so frequently used, and it's also very wide available. So a lot of people who are using one or two bank accounts, they've got this BLIK enabled on their accounts, and they started also use this method of payment during paying for e-commerce. It's even maybe more secure, or people think that it's more secure, because to pay the BLIK you need to have the code on your phone and then put this code on the web page to pay the amount. So it's a little bit maybe complicated, but seems to be more secure than paying by credit cards.
Thank you. So, sorry, Paul. Thank you. Sorry to jump in. As I know you have maybe more slides, but I would like to also welcome all our panelists from Poland, and we should officially end today at 1. So, and yes, we are really behind the schedule. So anyway, I don't know how many slides more do you have, but just information to our panelists. Thank you for your patience. Pavel, it's almost about to end, and then we would like to have this discussion about the Polish market. And I would like to also ask Pavel maybe to stay with us, and if you would have, so just to share with us the results, and then we really smoothly go to the panel discussion. So thank you. Sorry to disturb you, Pavel.
Yeah, I'm here to. I'm almost ready. I've got some. Finishing slides. It's about the results. Yeah, Andrzej Stawicek from LL.M, he saw the performance improvement of his website after our work. So we started from improving payment methods and adding paczkomat, and it helps him a lot in terms of conversion rate in Poland. Yeah, I've got some additional slides, but I think that I could share it with the audience also via email or in another way.
Yeah, we will share it with our audience for sure. Anyway, once again, thank you, Pavel. I think that all our listeners, they have a clear idea about paczkomaty and also about the payments. And once again, from Honza's experience. Now, let me please welcome other Polish panelists. There is a Witold and Patricia. They are from Chamber of Digital Economy. So welcome. There is a Mateusz, the CEO of GlobKurier.pl, and also Jakub from ADN, and Kacper from Allegro. And so, Szanowni Państwo, witamy, and I'm so sorry for once again for the delay. And we have really, let's say, heated discussion, and we started the heated discussion about the position of Allegro and also the entry of Amazon on Polish market. So I will start with the question from audience, as we really discuss it, and it was not really clear. So what do you think as a local experts, and what's your thoughts about Amazon versus Allegro Fry? What can Amazon offer that, for example, Allegro or not, and what's your prediction of this two heavy brands battling of the Polish market to become e-commerce king? So maybe Kacper, that would be really interesting to start with you. So what's your thought, or what's your threats about Amazon?
Thanks, Mark. That was a surprise that you directed that question to me. So first of all, great to be here. Thanks. Thank you very much. I think so as Allegro, like maybe three facts that I always like to bring to the table. So 2 months ago, we had 23 million active users on the platform, which is roughly 80% of all the Polish internet users. Actually, if you look at the shopping path, so the consumers in Poland, they start searching for products on Allegro more often than in any search engine or any online stores. And we are, according to Super Brands, we are the most trusted consumer brand in Poland in 2021. So I think these are, like the current situation, and we are, like working very hard on each front to make sure that we have more customers and they are buying more. And I think the competition is great. I think especially in the areas where maybe Allegro was not historically that strong. So whether it's logistics, whether it's fast delivery, and this is like pushing us to invest even more in those areas. you know, if I look at Amazon, which is already present in Poland, I don't know, for more than 5 years with fulfillment centers, and for you know, already I think 2 years with the Polish version of Amazon.de. So there was already a time for Polish customers to get accustomed to that, and Amazon is here, right? So we know it, and I think, you know, like the key challenge from my perspective is on the logistics side, but this is also why as Allegro we are investing very heavily here. So Allegro fulfillment is coming live very soon. A lot of new delivery options, Allegro pickup points. So all of that, I think, are the initiatives that would enable us to stay on top of mind of Polish buyers. But also one additional thing, which is something that I'm doing personally, so bringing sellers from outside of Poland to Allegro. Allegro is super strong with Polish sellers, more than 100,000 merchants, but historically not that strong with international sellers. And this is something that we are also investing very heavily in. So making sure that sellers whether from Czech Republic, from other countries, other continents, are able to successfully sell on Allegro.
And okay, so I'm sorry that I really already jumping into the discussion and heated. So if anyone from other panelists do you have any thoughts about how Amazon can offer something which Allegro cannot, or where do you think they would compete?
So Amazon is very strong in digital goods. So this is something that Allegro doesn't have at the moment, but they doing really their best. As Kasper said, amazing job in the logistics, Allegro pickup points, and NPS is amazing. So great things has been done. But additionally, Amazon has the digital goods as VOD, audibles. So probably this is the main difference at the moment now.
Okay, thank you. And before maybe Hunza will jump with other questions and others, please use Q&A. And I think I can see already Patricia here. So once again, Patricia, sorry for the delay, but my English or Polish, it's not that good, and you know the Polish market well. So if I may ask you just to share a little bit before some data, and then if you Patricia may lead the discussion, that would be great. So the stage is yours, Patri. Patricia, are you there? I cannot hear you. So, Witold, are you there with Patricia, both of in the same office, or probably not, right?
Yes, well, no, we aren't in the same office. We are in different cities.
Yes. Oh, I see. Okay, because I can see Patricia, but she is muted. So.
Hi, everybody. Sorry.
Oh, finally, yes.
I had excellent internet before we started the introducing. So sorry, there's something running in our office. Probably that's why, because we've changed the office, we've moved to the new one, and probably something is not well with the connection. I hope I will be able to handle this. We've got 55 minutes of our discussion panel, so the better if we start. Hello, it's thank you. First of all, thank you very much for inviting a Digital Chamber of Economy to your conference. I've heard the previous pitch of Expandeco. We've got a couple of numbers that are the same about Polish market. I will try to share the presentation that will be introducing the discussion panel. If you hold on for a while. Basic.
Yeah, so we can see your screen, Patricia. Yeah, the PowerPoint is opening, as I can see. Sorry to hear about your internet connection.
Do you see now the presentation?
Yes, we can see the first slide.
So great. Then in a couple of words, I will describe our organization, just a few words. Digital Chamber of Economy, we're on the market for 8 years. And we are the biggest e-commerce organization on our market, Polish market. And through e-commerce Europe, we also are able to do the lobbying on European market, because since the very beginning of e-commerce Europe, we are a member of this organization. Now we've got almost 200 members, and what we do, we are focused on a couple of products. First, as I mentioned already, is a legislative point and lobbying. Education, we educate the e-commerce business as well as the consumer, because without the consumer there wouldn't be e-commerce. We publish reports, we do standards and code ethics, and we've got also a working group. Each company that is our member can be active in all those projects we run. When it comes to Polish players on Polish e-commerce market, it's built almost like the other European markets. I mean, more than 80% of the companies on Polish e-commerce market are SMEs, and 20% are the largest entities, and the 30% of the Polish e-commerce market is Allegro, the biggest Polish marketplace. When it comes to value of Polish e-commerce market, PricewaterhouseCoopers showed that in latest report that the e-commerce in Poland values 100 billion zlotych, and in 2026 it's gonna be 162. So it shows that each year Polish e-commerce market grows really rapidly. During the pandemic, last year, since March to December, in Poland, there were 11,000 new online stores. We've got brand new report. Just after this discussion panel, we will have our own discussion panel about the report on e-commerce I buy comfortable. And I also today show you a couple of brand fresh numbers that shows a difference between the Polish market before the e-commerce market before the pandemic and just after the pandemic. For example, during the pandemic, more than 30% of internet users started to buy online. Now it is 84% of internet users that already buys online. That's a really huge number. After 4 years, it increased almost 50%. What is really new during the pandemic? A lot of seniors started to buy online. A smaller percentage of internet users buy more than 5 times a month, and it is 13% of users. Polish people, internet user, usually buy from online shops and also the marketplaces. This is the place where we love to buy because the marketplaces give a large number of products. The most popular category in e-commerce is fashion, beauty, sports, home furniture, and electronic. What is also, when it comes to e-commerce, Polish e-commerce market, we also have to mention about omni-commerce market, because a lot of online shops has also offline shops in Poland, and which is very important is the communication to the buyer who is online and offline. And during the pandemic, a lot of internet users started to miss the offline shops, which has changed during a couple of 6 months. But Polish internet users definitely usually buy online. When it comes to delivery, Polish online buyers usually like paczkomaty, which was already mentioned, and courier shipments. Besides the Polish e-commerce user, the user chooses online e-commerce just because it's comfortable, easy, and safe. And the Polish e-commerce users likes when he's got a lot of deliveries in the shop, when he's got a lot of different payments when he enters the online shops. For example, he loves to use the fast transfers, pay by links, like it was already mentioned, przelewy24, .pay, etc., etc. He likes also to, if he wants to pay it with credit cards, even the cash. Our brand new report shows that 64% of internet users, they don't want to change the situation with the cash. It means that they still want to have the cash even in the digital world. When it comes to the direct influence of pandemic, definitely it changes the situation in retail, in e-commerce, and definitely it changed Polish customer. We love to buy online because we feel that, as already mentioned, comfortable, easy, and safe. And 84% of internet users that already buy online, that's a huge number. It shows that the situation will not change in Poland, and definitely the e-commerce will grow each year, maybe not as fast as during pandemic, but definitely 10, 20%. Now, let me introduce my speakers during our discussion panel. It's Witold Chomiczewski, representative of Legislative Chamber of Digital Economy, attorney at law and partner at Lubasz i Wspólnicy, Kacper Rosenbaum, head of international sales at Allegro, Jakub Czerwiński, CEO at Adyen, and Mateusz Pycia, CEO at GlobKurier, domestic and international transport. My speaker has a lot of experience in e-commerce. They create great businesses with extremely big success on Polish market and also on foreign markets. So they have experience not only on local market but also international markets. I would like to ask you questions first about the potential to enter the Polish e-commerce market. My first question will be to Mateusz, CEO at GlobKurier. Could you explain us how the Czech company should prepare to enter our market? what do you think about partnerships? Because some companies prefer partnerships, some companies prefer to go to enter by their own. The floor is yours.
Okay. Hi everyone. Thank you, Patricia, for this question. Firstly, I want to say that I'm very happy that so many of our Czech friends want to come to Polish market, Polish e-commerce market, which is booming. This is a great idea. And in my opinion, it's much easier to enter Polish market than, for example, the German one. But you still have to prepare yourself. And first, there will be few things I would like to mention just to remember. Number one would be the price comparison. I know it's basics, but still make sure you are not going to blot out yourself in Polish market. There are oceans full of sharks, so make sure that your price structures is okay and you can gain some customers. Poles are very price sensitive, so be aware of this. Number two would be customization. I often see the Czech pages or Slovakian pages, we are translated, but it's not fully Polish language. So remember about this. And I would say that Polish like to buy from the Polish shops. So only 26% of Poles buy outside of the Poland. So it's very important that your e-shop web page looks like the Polish one. So very important. Your graphics and UX is really good because there are differences in feelings in Czech and in Polish, I would say. So it's very easy to see which page is from Poland often and which page is from, for example, from Czech. And local numbers and emails is very important in the customization process. And number three would be the local deliveries, which Paweł and Patricia had mentioned as well. So make sure that not only paczkomaty, but as well paczka w ruchu, the PUDOs. There are many PUDOs options here in Poland and local carriers. So, and as Patricia said, I fully agree that the more delivery options you have, the better the conversion rate. So price comparison, customization, and local deliveries. And Patricia, regarding the partnership, that's 100% true. I would go with the partnership. We've got Allegro here, so I would definitely would make some cooperation with Allegro because it's the biggest marketplace. And secondly, as well, the local, maybe physical distributors and local operators, so that your returns and your shipments can go smoothly. And as well, join some organization in Poland as AISBA, for example, which can allow you to connect to new people.
Thank you, Mateusz. There's one thing we should also mention, that Polish online customers, they are mobile. For example, in Poland, almost 40% of internal users buys mobile. So definitely we love new technology. We love that's why it's good to be prepared to the demand of Polish e-commerce users. I see that some questions are in Czech language, so I don't know if they will be later translated, so that we could be able.
If there will be any Czech questions, I would translate them. But please, just a reminder to our listeners and viewers. I will switch to Czech. Jenom připomínám, prosím, otázky posílejte do Q&A. Nejlépe v angličtině. Kdyby se nepovedlo, tak rád to přeložím, ale je to na vás. So now back to you guys. The discussion is yours.
So thank you, Mateusz. Now, Jakub Czerwiński, Adrian. Jakub, could you do a lot of strategy how to enter foreign markets? You are responsible about that in your job. Could you could you describe the difference between foreign customer and Polish customer e-commerce market? For example, could you show us the difference between Czech e-commerce market and Polish e-commerce markets?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much for the invitation. What a great initiative to bridge the commerce gap between Czech and Poland. I think the more of those, the better for both shoppers and merchants. Yes, my name is Jakub and working for Adyen, payments platform present across multiple markets, including Poland and Czech Republic. Great question, Patricia. What are the differences? I think there are plenty of them. Some observations we have, and maybe as a benchmark, we have the privilege of working with some of the leading Czech retailers like Rohlik or Alza, Notino, Lidl, and others. And I think learnings we got with them is that expanding to Poland or moving your business to Poland is not as easy as some brands have thought it might be. First of all, and first and foremost, it's extremely competitive to grasp traffic and to grasp attention of shoppers. And I think something that was already said about trust and credibility on the previous presentation, this is something extremely important. Polish shoppers tend to be very cautious and suspicious. I think over the last year or two, with the influx of e-commerce volume and e-commerce business, there has been equal amount of fraud attempts. So more and more platforms are being victims of phishing attacks. Allegro having issues with this, OLX having issues with this. This is a common industry-wide problem. The problem is being tackled by the government, by institutions such as Chamber of Digital Economy, by all participants of the market. But I think what's the effect of it is that Polish shoppers are extremely cautious. So building trust and reputation and visibility of your brand is extremely important. So that's first of all. Second of all, I think one thing that we saw over the last years is that the increase of flexibility and convenience has been perceived by the market as, you know, the more convenient and the more flexible options you have, the more you're never going to see returning to previous times, right? The easier it is to make purchases, in other words, the more you don't imagine yourself going back to days where you cannot buy online and return in store, right? You cannot order something while being in a physical store, but actually having a product fulfilled by a central warehouse. So I think something that Patricia also mentioned, the results of the omnichannel reports recently, various studies are showing that being present in multiple channels is no longer, a luxury which you shouldn't have. You should consider as whether to afford it or not. I think for many brands, even those digital-only brands, having physical presence is a way to better interact with the brand, to better express your values, to better express what your product range is. So we're really highly recommending, and we're really seeing that those players who remained in multiple channels throughout the pandemic period really managed to sustain volumes and transaction counts close to those before pandemic, because the volumes shifted from offline to online, and they were really able to compensate the loss of brick and mortar in online world. And that really shows how open to omni-channel experiences Polish shoppers are. And last point, very quickly, I think something that we also seen popping up more and more across different brands, from Lidl, Biedronka, Żabka, so leading retailers, is how to recognize the shopper. So how brands are capable of recognizing loyalty, recognizing and rewarding loyalty. So not only being able to say, okay, I know that you've been in my store online or offline, but also being able to, in a consistent way, reward you for the fact that you're visiting Biedronka or Lidl or Żabka or Rossmann or any other brand regularly. Obviously, loyalty schemes have been on the Polish market for ages in all sorts of shapes and forms. But I think the new evolution of those programs is really bringing a lot of value for the shoppers. And whenever you're thinking about opening up to the Polish shopper, please keep in mind that loyalty is something that is hard-earned, but it brings great reward.
Thank you, Jakub. This is what you've mentioned, that the omni-channel is very important when you think about the strategy on the Polish market. Yes, this is something that we see in every research that we do in Digital Chamber of Economy, and what we see, it grows each year. It doesn't change. It doesn't change the market, but what changes that the omni-channel. A couple of years ago, people prefer to buy offline, and since 2 years, for 2 years, people in omni-channel prefers to buy online. And because of the pandemic, because of that the shops were closed in every country, the situation makes e-commerce much stronger. That's definitely. But from our new research and new report that I've already mentioned the numbers on e-commerce I buy comfortable, just after this discussion panel we've got the premiere, shows that that the e-commerce will grow still stronger, but the omni-commerce and omni-channel is important when you think about your business on Polish market, because this is what our customer needs and what customer wants. So thank you, Jakub, again.
Yeah, and maybe just a quick comment, I think, to what you said, Patrycja. The conclusion is that a lot of shoppers in Poland and probably elsewhere in different markets are very agnostic to what channel they use to buy a product, which way the product is fulfilled, and how they pay for the product. Right? For as long as the product meets their expectations on price, on quality, on ethics, on values, on the brand perception, whatever, the agnostic approach towards channel sales fulfillment is only going to increase, right? Which means the more flexible you're going to be moving forward, the more market you're going to grasp.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Jakub. And now I would like to ask about barriers. I invited Witold Chomyczewski. He's representative of the Digital Chamber of Economy, our legislation representative, and also attorney at law and partner of Lubawskiej Wspólnicy. He's very good expert in law in e-commerce. Witek, there are a couple of barriers, legal barriers on entering a Polish e-commerce market. Please let us know on which the Czech company, there are the biggest barriers, or on which should the Czech company have a main stress when they want to enter Polish e-commerce market.
Yes, first of all, thank you for inviting me to this very interesting discussion. It's great to be here with you, and I will be pleased to give you some remarks about the legal system in Poland and the key points. Because entering the Polish market from the legal perspective, it's on the one hand it is easy. But on the other hand, you have some key points which needs your attention. It is easy because we are in the European Union, so we have the freedom to provide information society services. So if you are registered in Czech Republic, you don't need to be registered at Poland. You don't need to fulfill all the requirements which are connected with starting a company or having an e-shop in Poland. So it is you don't need any permission. So because of it, it is easy. But it is complicated because of two principles which you have to be aware. First of all, we have on the basic, on the regulation of the European Union, the principle that if you are entering into the contracts with consumers, and if you by any means direct your activity of your e-shop to Poland, for example, by having the Polish language, the site in the Polish language, or by using, for example, paczkomaty as a characteristic way of delivering the goods in Poland, you direct your activity to Poland, and after it, you have the Polish law is governing the contracts with Polish consumers, and we have the consumer law is based on the same directive in Czech Republic and in Poland, but in Poland the so-called unfair terms. The unfair terms, which are the parts of the contract which are unfair to consumers, so they are not in good faith and they cause significant imbalance. The interpretation of this unfair terms is in Poland very broadly. So you have to pay attention and to check if your agreement, your regulation of your e-shop is compliant with the Polish way of thinking about the unfair terms and consumers. The second thing you have to pay attention is what Mateusz already said about the translation of the description of the products. If you do it in the automatic way, for example, on some online translator, it has a great legal risk because sometimes the translation is not precise. And one of the very important obligation of the e-shop is to inform a consumer in a very clear way, for example, about the description of the product, so the key factors of the products. And if the translation isn't okay and it is unclear in this part, you breach the consumer law in Poland. So it is very important. And third thing, which I would like to mention, is if you use the Polish law to build, for example, the trust on the Polish market. So your contracts are under the Polish law, not only with consumers, but also with interpreters, small businesses, for example. You have to be aware that since this year in Poland, the small businesses, individual persons who run small businesses, are under the consumer law also. So they can, for example, withdraw from the contract, from the distance contract within 14 days. And you also do not, you also can't use the unfair terms regarding this group of buyers. So it is very specific Polish problem, which and the regulation isn't good, but it is as it is, and you have to pay attention to these three things. So these are very important bicycle things, and that's a start from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Vito. So now we've got a couple of summary. First, that as Mateusz already said, that the Polish customer is very demanding. Second thing, that we also have, if a company wants to enter Polish market, has to know the Polish consumer and think also about the omnichannel. The third thing, that you have to definitely know the local law, not to make any mistakes and entering Polish market. Now I would like to ask the representative of the biggest marketplace in Poland, Kacper Rosenbaum. You represent the 30% of Polish e-commerce market. Hugest one. Some experts says that if you want to enter a foreign market, you should do that by your own, to create your own brand. The other says that marketplace is the best way to find the biggest number of consumers. Kacper, please explain to the Czech business how to get on our market through Allegro.
Thank you, Patrycja. So I think, you know, Mateusz and Witold already mentioned a lot of barriers or hurdles that Czech businesses would need to somehow solve or get through. And I think marketplace like Allegro actually takes care of some of it, or at least helps with some of those barriers. You know, like we mentioned, for example, mobile, right? If you're on Allegro, you're already on mobile, right? Allegro app is one of top apps in Poland. There's like 10 million users of this app each month. So from you know, like from this perspective, from the perspective also, some of the Polish regulations, for example, they are already embedded in our rules as a marketplace. So we as a marketplace requires certain, let's say, behaviors, or, you know, like we have certain provisions in our terms and conditions, but that are compliant with Polish law. But because you are going for this journey as a seller and on the marketplace, you can understand very well how it works, and you will get, you know, like different notifications, for example, that you need to do certain things. So there are some, you know, even from that perspective, there are some, there's actually a lot of benefits. Additional thing, Witold also mentioned, you know, like even if you're working with partners in Poland, you need to think, you know, with whom you're working. As Allegro, we have this number of, you know, like special partners, service provider network. So we have companies where there are, you know, translation companies or some, I don't know, like tax advisory companies that we know that they serve different businesses from around the world, and we can recommend them to Czech businesses, for example. So I would say some of those barriers already could be taken care of. But actually, if you go, you know, like strictly to the business, right? When you're on Allegro, you get, you know, you can reach out to those more than 20 million users that are visiting us every month. And actually, it is not that difficult to set up this presence. So if you think about joining Allegro, so actually you just need, you know, like to fill in a form and later, you know, like send some documents in Czech without any translation. We put some special effort to make sure that we are accepting in our, you know, registration process documents in Czech. So you can do that. There is, you know, no cost that you need to pay on Allegro. There is no subscription, monthly subscription fee like on some of the platforms. You can join as a seller, as a professional seller. You don't need to pay anything until you actually make some transaction. We will charge you a success fee. But again, for new sellers, especially, you know, like sellers from Czech Republic, we have special programs where there are actually discounts on sales commission. So I can say that, you know, for the first months of activity on the platform, you get a lot of different options for free that you can test. So actually, from this perspective, the only thing that you need to take care of is to set up, you know, like your channel management software to make sure that, you know, like you can upload the offers on Allegro. And indeed, that we require in Polish due to the reasons that Witold mentioned. But again, we have some partners that can help you with translation. And maybe what is additional, you don't need to really take care of some of the parameters that are critical, because we as Allegro, we know that for certain products, I know in electronics, we require certain parameters. So you will need to go through that anyways. And for some of that, we'll provide translation because we know what's the translation, you know, like for certain parameters. So there is, I would say, additional, you know, a benefit of doing that because it's just easier. You know, I think when this is taken care of, so if you're already on the platform, actually you don't incur so much costs. There's the logistics part, which was already mentioned a couple of times. But actually, if you're on Allegro, I would say, and especially if you're shipping from Czech Republic, there's additional benefit. So colleagues here mentioned SMART program, which is this super popular program among Polish buyers, which basically gives you a free delivery if you shop for more than roughly 10 euros. And from Czech Republic, what we did actually, I think less than 2 months ago, we launched this smart program from Czech Republic. So if you pick a certain specific couriers, you can actually ship from Czech Republic, you can ship via courier, and the offer will be in smart. So if the buyers are looking for this, like free delivery, they will get it. And we are co-financing as Allegro, we are co-financing the shipments. So there is benefit for buyer, benefit for seller. You are more visible as a seller with your assortment. So logistics, I think we are also, like putting a lot of effort, especially for, like Czech sellers, to make sure that you are visible in smart, and we will be expanding that. And then I think what is, I think also, like part of the question, Patricia, that you mentioned, okay, so how to differentiate on the platform? There is 20 million, more than 20 million of users, but there's also a lot of sellers, right? And I think this is something when there is, I would not conceal that there is, some effort required there, right? And some strategy to be put in place. Because there are a lot of options to actually build your brand in Poland. So there are, like paid search ads within Allegro that you can use, but also we can help you as a seller from outside of Poland to build your presence on Facebook, in Google, to build this presence, and everything you can do via Allegro. And we have also partners, trusted partners, certified partners that we know that can help you with your business, that speak English, that speak Czech, and that can help you set all of this promotion advertising up. But we as Allegro, we also, we are happy to show you how to do that. So I think, when you have your strategy, whether, you're a reseller or you have your own brand, the strategy will be a bit different. But there's actually a lot of tools to do it via Allegro, but either on Allegro or outside of Allegro, to build this awareness among Polish buyers. And I think when you compare the cost of doing it by your own, in the country with different keywords that you don't know, via doing it on the marketplace, especially with some support, I'm pretty sure that in most of the cases it will be easier to build it actually on Allegro. And we have a number of successful businesses from Czech Republic that are already present on Allegro. So there are cases, some of them are shipping from Czech Republic, some of them switch to shipping from Poland, but there is actually quite a lot of different sellers from different categories that are already very successful. And I think it just proves that with some effort put up front, it's a really good it's a good sales channel. So I would say, just to sum it up, I think the costs are actually not that high, and the most of the costs actually you incur when you start selling, and if you put some effort into like making sure that the content is right, and into thinking about the marketing strategy, it could be really it would be really successful sales channel.
Kasper, thank you very much for this description how to enter the Polish market through Allegro. I've got a question to Mateusz. Mateusz, what do you think about creating own brand on the Polish market? What is your opinion? What is your suggestion to the business going? Is it possible to go through Allegro and also to create your own brand on Polish market?
So sure. Firstly, to check the market fit, it would be great to use Allegro, just to make sure that the prices are okay, that the quality is okay of your goods to the Polish customer, and then you can check how much you want to invest, because always you got to be very careful about your money. So if the market fit goes okay, Allegro makes tremendous job with selling your goods, then it's a great idea simultaneously to build your own e-shop, so that what Jakub Czerwiński from Adyen said, you can build your own brand so that your customer can be more loyal to your brand. And then your brand would be much more worth for Allegro and for Allegro customers. So I would, Patricia, take both both Allegro and build your own channel.
I see that Paweł Wilczyński is knocking with his head. So do you agree, Paweł?
Yes, I totally agree. It's important to have more than one leg in case of any circumstances on the market. It's important to have not only one channel to get to the clients, but both of them. And building your own brand is a good way to think about Polish market, I think.
Thank you, Paweł. There is one thing that Polish e-commerce is very famous of. We've got the best customer service in Europe. This is what the other countries said about Polish e-commerce. Jakub Czerwiński, you've got a really huge experience, international experience. What do you think and what you suggest Czech businesses when it comes to customer service in e-commerce?
Yeah, great question again, Patricia. I think first and foremost, privately, that's not Adian's statement. I think there are a lot of merchants that can still live up to the promise of the best customer service in Poland. But indeed, in general, I think by a rule of thumb, you can say that, as was mentioned before today, localizing your services, having live chat support, having a quick access to a hotline, and having someone who speaks local language, those are real arguments that long-term win customers' loyalty. Right at the end of the day, one of the points from Adian Retail Report, it's an annual report we run to check different trends and changes in consumer behaviors, shows that Polish consumers actually start to value quality of the service and product over the price more for the first time in a really long time, right? So this benchmark that price was the king is slowly shifting towards the quality is the king, and I think we're seeing it more and more. One of the very interesting observations is that I think 75 or 70-something% of Poles declared that they're willing to go extra further, so take a detour to a shop that offers convenient shopping, faster checkout, or no queues. For me, this is a clear sign that Poles are very picky and are looking for ways to shop in modern ways. That's why we have so many installations of self-service checkouts. So those cashiers where you can scan your stuff and walk out. We even hear stories of merchants who have up to 50% of their online order volume go through click and collect or reserve and collect channels, right? So these are examples where you realize that how powerful presentation of your product online is for a potential pickup in brick and mortar store. So yeah, my 2 cents.
Thank you, Kuba. Definitely the presentation of the product is something to improve in e-commerce, and I think the investment in technology to improve the visibility of the product online is very important. Now I've got a question to all of you. You've already mentioned about a couple of mistakes that company might do entering our market, but can you all say about what to avoid? What kind of mistakes the company should avoid entering a Polish market? And if you know from your experience already the mistakes that the companies made entering market, and maybe you can describe how they get through this to get a success on our market. Let's start with Mateusz.
Sure. So I would say that there are 2 huge, even mortal mistakes you cannot do. So first is copy-paste strategy. So you just take your Czech standards and put it into the Polish market. This is number one. The second is the misunderstanding of the pace. So we have our branch in Czech as well. We have many friends from Czech, and we see the differences. We differ. So in my opinion, the business in Poland goes much faster than in Czech, okay? And I hear it a lot that 1 day, 2 day in Czech, it's okay. And in Poland, you have to a due date and you got to do it. And the great example, Patricia, the copy-paste strategy, the mistake would be the well-known, probably in Czech, a company called Guys. The Guys is the German company, but the Guys has the Czech branch in Czech Republic, and the Czech Republic acquired a few years ago the Polish career company named Chcesz. Probably you know it. So Chcesz was acquired, Guys had millions of euros, and they say Chcesz will be number 2, number 3 player in Poland in few years. But what happened? Unfortunately, our Czech friends copied the Czech system, the Czech IT system, into the Polish market. That was the first fatal, mortal mistake. The second mistake was changing the 1-day delivery slot in Chcesz, in Guys in Poland, to 2-day delivery slot, practically, because of the label generation. And the third mistake of the Guys people was not fully properly working integration with Allegro. And after a few times, after a few months, after millions of euro, they had to withdraw from the Polish market. So never do the copy-paste strategy in Poland, because Czech Republic and Poland differs. So please remember about this.
Thank you, Mateusz. That's really true. Jakub.
Yes, I think I don't know really of many mistakes, but I have a few instead great practices. And I wanted to highlight the success of Notino, who has recently been taking Polish market by storm. Really, the Q1 of Notino is, I think, a lot of other players in their segment, like Douglas and Sephora, were afraid for their lives and fighting back very hard. And their approach to really localize content, offering, provide support in local language, put everything on a Polish domain, focus on very, very good graphical presentation of product, what you mentioned, Patricia. For me, the way Notino is currently expanding across Europe is really a role model for multinational expansion. So if any Czech merchants are looking for a good benchmark, I think this is, you don't have to look far for a good start. They entered extremely tough, very, very tough and very busy market at the very difficult time. Midway through a pandemic, started to expand, invest heavily in their presence in the country, and I think it paid off very well. Yeah, but sadly I can't give answers on what mistakes to prevent. I think Mateusz gave pretty good ones.
So Jakub, one question: did Notino have the low price strategy, or rather the quality? Which one would you say?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, the product catalog of Notino is comparable to the one Sephora, Douglas, you know, Rossmann and other players in a segment. So quality-wise, they're on par with offering, I think. Obviously, they're trying to compete on price, but I don't think this is the main reason why they're winning the race. For me, as a very recent buyer on the Notino, I loved extremely fast and seamless checkout process, right? So I could literally get from a product basket to confirmation of payment within 2 clicks and in, I think, under 30 seconds. And for me, this is something that plays such a key role these days, because if you're overcomplicating the checkout with redirects, with asking customers to type in different items in different fields in different places, I mean, this just kills conversion. So, yeah.
Thank you, Jakub. Kacper, Vito, do you want to mention something?
Yes, so from the legal perspective, I think that there is one key point and one important mistake which the business side quite often do. So you have to remember that you have in each business the way of managing the project, so the project management. And it is very important to see the legal part of entering the Polish market, for example, as a part of this project. So the legal aspects should be noticed in this project since its beginning. Why it is so important? Because if you are ready with your e-shop, you are ready with marketing, you start selling, and after it you see there are some problems, or you go to the lawyer at this stage, and he said, okay, there are some problems. You have to change the name of the button. You have to place the information for customer in another place of the service. And then you start to see that it is this cost, because you have to change a lot of things. And the legal risk is much higher. So please remember, if you start this project to enter the Polish market, think about the legal aspects as a part of this project since the very beginning.
Exactly, Vitek. I think everyone agrees. Kacper, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I think a lot of was already mentioned, and I think like my experience with like sellers from other countries is that the only thing that makes difference is actually the effort and the attitude, right? I think it was rightly said that the expectation of Polish customers is high, right? And I think this is also reflected in, to some extent, in how we as Allegro are looking at sellers, right? So the speed of response is important and so on. And there is a lot of sellers who just, like go through the training, they understand, like what are those best practices, and then they are successful, right? Some sellers, they treat it as something that will play with itself, and I think that approach might not always work, right? There is some requirement for customer interaction, sometimes more, sometimes less, and just to understand how to do it and do it in a timely manner, I think it's important. And like for me, this is the one thing that like really differentiates, like that the top sellers, apart from obviously like the preparation and so on, the top sellers from those who are struggling, right? So just putting a bit more effort, understanding what the customers are looking for, in the post sales, and what the customers are looking for in terms of like search and so on, right? So I would say it's a bread and butter, right, in retail, to understand your customers. And I think here, if you do it right, and I believe especially in Allegro, you have a lot of tools to do it, including some analytics, what's happening on the platform, what are the trends. If you use it, I think then you are set up for success.
Thank you, Kacper. Paweł, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I think that Czech e-commerce scene is very active, and it also works very well on competitive Czech market. So I think that if Czech e-commerces would bring their best practices into Poland, it's just like that. But remember about localization and about the preparing everything for the Polish customers, that it would look like the local e-shop, not the e-shop from abroad, because it's crucial in my opinion.
Thank you, Paweł. Before we end, one question to everyone, and please answer with one sentence. How to encourage with one sentence Czech business to enter our markets? Mateusz.
So Polish economy is the 6th biggest in European Union, the 5th according to the purchasing power, and will be the 3rd in 30 years' time. So join us.
Thank you. Kacper.
So if you look at e-commerce penetration of retail, Poland is still way behind Western Europe, but this gap is closing very fast. So I think right now is the perfect moment to get in and to ride this wave of, increasing e-commerce penetration in Poland.
Thank you, Jakub.
And while doing so and riding the wave, make sure to think of flexibility and convenience as your fundamental strategy, because omni-channel preferences are only growing stronger and stronger every year.
Thank you. Witek?
Yeah, so good legal preparation, and it's one of the important points of having success on the Polish market.
Exactly. And let me do the summary before we finish the discussion panel. Why to enter Polish market? Because 84% of internet users buys online. That definitely is the very huge number on the comparing to the European internet users. Invest in technology if you want to join in Poland, because Polish customers love to buy mobile. Take care of customer, because we are famous of a good customer service, because our customer, e-commerce customer, is demanding, not only because of the payments, delivery way, but also of the website and the presentation of the product. Legal issues is what was already mentioned, is very important. Case studies, check the market, check your competitors, because you enter before you enter the market. And the last thing, join Digital Chamber of Economy. We can also help you. We've got 200 great experts, companies that might help you to join us. Thank you very much. One more time, thank you for the invitation. Unfortunately, we have to finish because it's 1 o'clock, and I'm switching into the second panel. I hope my internet will work a bit better. Thank you very much, and thank you, great panelists. One more time, Witold Chomyczewski, representative of Digital Chamber of Economy from the legislative part, attorney at law partner in Lubasz Wspólnicy, Kacper Rosenbaum, Head of International Sales at Allegro, Jakub Czerwiński, CEO at Adyen, Mateusz Pycia, CEO of GlobKurier, and thank you, Paweł Bielczyński, other ex-Poldeco, to join us from time to time during the panel. It was great to see you, and one more time, sorry for the problem at the beginning with the internet.
No
Wish
worries,
you a good day.
Yeah. So, dziękujemy. Thank you, all the panelists. It was really good insights. Once again, and enjoy your second panel and have a great day. Now I will switch to Czech and finish it. So, dziękujeme. Bye. Tak já doufám, že i v té angličtině to pro vás bylo inspirující. Já si myslím, že spoustu z vás, si doufám, zapsalo tu nutnost naprostý dobrý lokalizace, mít někoho, kdo ten trh, kdo je vlastně nativní speaker, kdo ten trh zná. Doufám, že to pro vás bylo vlastně obohacující. Věřím, že jste si vlastně zapsali třeba i kontakty na Kacpera. Já jsem byl rád, že i člověk z Allegra dokázal odpovídat napřímo vašim otázkám. Omlouváme se za drobný průtahy, ale myslím si, že to bylo dobrý kvůli i tomu, že jste se do toho zapojili. A já nevím, jestli ještě Honza nebo kdokoliv z APEKu chce jednou zopakovat, my vám tu studii z polského trhu určitě pošleme. Já chci taky poděkovat i vlastně tady Honzovi za to, i Míše, i všem vlastně, kdo tady mluvili vlastně z české strany. No a my se budeme určitě těšit na vás zase při jakékoliv další APEKu, při další akci a je to ještě jednou děkuji za všechny vaše dotazy, budeme se těšit na další akci a taky přeju vám hezký zbytek dne. Tak jo, mějte se, naschle.